Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is, I guess you'd call it a hot take about the boycotts and how I think we should proceed forward with them, and things we should do and the things we shouldn't do. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 11 available at Amazon.com. Still available. Woke, a standard novel, and Hollywoke, another novel. I assume those will also have to go up in price starting sometime in June. I think June 20th is when the prices all go up. I haven't gotten the email from Amazon about what the exact price differentiation will be. I assume it'll go up like another buck or two. Anyhow, get your books now. The boycotts. So, started basically with the Bud Light one. There were other boycotts before. I talked about, I boycotted the Exxon Valdez, Exxon for the Exxon Valdez mess. And I refused to go to Exxon. And I stuck by that. I think one time I was nearly out of gas and had to go to an Exxon station. But for the most part, I banned them. Bud Light was easy for me to ban because I don't really drink beer, so I'm certainly not buying it. And I think you couldn't ask for a worse time to start a beer boycott for a big company, because there are a million local brewers out there now. But then there's Target. Okay, so the Target boycott is a little different, because Target isn't just a beer or a single item. Target is an entire store full of items. And it's a little more difficult to boycott a store because stores just really sell product, right? And they just kind of, some products, there was one product in particular at Target I always bought there because it was the cheapest place to sell it, and they were decent. There were a couple other cheap things, but mostly for that, I kept going to Target. So, the Target boycott is really about not the Pride merch or Pride Week, although that's stupid and dumb, or Pride Month now. It was about I think, the clothing for children that allowed children to tuck in their genitals. I think that's wrong. I don't think they should be selling that kind of stuff. I don't think they should be selling chest binders. I think they'll be sued over it one day, but until that day happens, they're apparently running amok with this ESG stuff. And now the pushback has already started to get out of control. Now, some of it, for the people who did, say, other psyops, some of this pushback could be AstroTurf, right? You could have a guy go into a Target and do something really crazy, God forbid, and then the people on the other side of this can point to it and say, see, all these people are bigots and they're crazy. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that association. So the only thing a boycott is you're just choosing with your dollar not to buy their products. And that's pretty easy in America. There's lots of stores everywhere. Now, you may live in one part of the country where it's really super inconvenient for you. Maybe you can't even do it. Maybe you work at Target and you depended upon like your employee discount to get stuff cheap. Well, the good news for you is I think there's going to be a lot of cheap stuff at Target in the coming weeks and months. The bad news is you may lose your gig. But we have to keep these boycotts up. But you'll only have to just stop buying their product. Stop buying Bud Light. You should probably stop buying the other Anheuser-Busch beers too. Modelo, now the number one spot being one of them. Everybody's crying, well, see, Anheuser-Busch is getting rich anyway. Not really. Not really. I mean, certainly they're going to write all the Bud Light stuff off as a tax write-off and offset all their profits, their billions of dollars of profit. But I'm sure they're not happy about losing a brand name like Bud Light, because these executives have egos too. With Target, these guys need to, feel the wrath. But you don't want to go down the Target and do something stupid. These guys who are doing videos, I'm here at Target, see, they have Pride stuff and it's terrible and blah, blah, blah. We're already past that. We don't need you to do another video about it. That video's for you. It's not for anybody else. Just don't go. Just don't go to Target. Don't give them any oxygen. Because the worst part about this stuff, for whether it's a celebrity or a corporation, is the lack of attention. The lack of oxygen kills these products, kills these stores. When people just don't go, when the store is empty day in, day out, it costs them a lot of money to keep those lights on. It's going to be an empty store in some Targets. Empty. So imagine you're working there, and imagine Target each day, man, they're just not making the money to offset the cost of even opening the store and paying all the employees. They will eventually be forced to cut back and cut back. They have Starbucks in my Target, or at least in two of them that I know of. Maybe Starbucks will say, wow, man, nobody's coming in and buying our overpriced coffees. Maybe we got to pull out of Target. That's all you need to do. Just don't spend your money there. And you can talk about it on the internet, but don't go there. Don't give them any ammo to reverse this trend. Let them just die on the vine. Because the worst thing, and this is true for Bud Light too, this is true for Chick-Fil-A. The worst thing that can happen is people just stop talking about them. Because when you stop talking about their products, it's just not in people's brain. And on top of the fact that they're not going, it's really easy if you're at lunch with your friends, or coworkers at least, and they say, hey, you want to go to Chick-fil-A? Just say no. Nah, I don't like Chick-fil-A anymore. I don't like that. Nah, I think I should go someplace else. You don't even have to get political about it. Just be like, nah, I ain't going to Chick-fil-A no more. Nah, there's a million places to go get a chicken sandwich or whatever. And if, there's always going to be a few diehard Chick-fil-A fans. Hey, I was diehard. I love Chick-fil-A. I love it. Oh, the waffle fries are very good. But I'm going to boycott them because it's time to do so. Now, in terms of the other companies doing Pride merch, a lot of companies do it. So there's a lot of stores that boycott there. Don't get too distracted by multiple boycotts. Bud Light, Target, Chick-fil-A. Beyond that, I say Star Wars, Disney in general. Boycott them. But, don't keep going into other boycotts and trying to get other people to do multiple boycotts. Just stick with the main ones. Stick with the people who have the voice. Matt Walsh pushed the Bud Light one, said, hey, let's take a scalp. To take that scalp, you need to stay focused. Stay absolutely laser focused on the top brands that are on the list. And force these people. Now, could you forgive these people? Like James Lindsay talked a little bit about giving Chick-fil-A a chance to explain themselves and maybe turning the boat around on their, what I see as a total boycott. Sure, you could, if they come out and said, oh, we got rid of that division, the DEI, and we don't do that stuff anymore, and whatever. Yeah, maybe. But it would have to be pretty damn convincing, right? For Bud Light to rebrand, first off, they've fired no one. I just read an article in my other video about the woman who greenlit that Bud Light marketing campaign. She hasn't been fired. She's on a leave. She's on leave from work. She lives in an $8 million, I assume, mansion townhouse near Central Park in New York. She's not hurting for cash. She's just on a extended vacation until this blows over. So don't let her win by forgetting. That's the key. So if you move on to banning other beers and other things, you forget about Bud Light and you say, well, we punish Bud Light enough, that won't work. You have to get Bud Light to the point at which, and they're at that point now, they can't sell the damn beer. They can't give it away. That's what you want. You want all the distributors to go, no, I'm not ordering Bud Light. You can give me Bud Light. I'll pass it around if you want, but at some point, even then, they'll say, it's not worth my time to even put it on the truck. I can't fill the orders for Coors. I'd rather put Coors on the truck than Bud Light that I'm going to have to bring back to you. So stick with the boycott. Stick with telling people about the boycott, but don't go to Target and make a scene. It doesn't work. You can make fun of them online, take their logo, do goofy things with it. Same thing with Bud Light. I did a thing. What was it? Oh, I turned Twitter into a Bud Light can because I was mad at Elon for hiring that WEF woman. But the key is you can't forget your boycotts. And you'll forget them if you try to do too many at once. And the overall idea is not to get rid of these various products. The idea is to get rid of ESG. So if one of these companies, these major corporations, came out and said, we're divesting ourselves of ESG, we're not going to do that anymore, that would be a reason to go, oh, okay, we'll support you now. I'll stuff my face with Chick-Fil-A and drink a Bud Light or whatever, if they do that. Now that no one's on the verge of doing that. I don't think we're close to any of these companies screaming uncle on that. I don't think Anheuser-Busch really cares about the boycott ultimately. They're just repositioning their other brands to take over, maybe. Target may care because Target might be in real trouble if the boycott lasts long enough, if they lose enough sales. And yeah, they're going to tempt you. They're going to say, hey, we've slashed all our prices by 50, 60, 70%, and now we sell American flags. No, they have to divest themselves of ESG. Then you know they're serious. They're very serious. Maybe if Bud Light fired that woke woman and the other guy connected to the campaign and vowed never to do it again, maybe. But they won't vow never to do it again because ESG is still part of their company policies. Look on their websites. That's all you have to do is look on their websites. They're all touting ESG. They're all touting this stuff, in my view. So just stick to the simplest thing. You can get other beers. You can shop at other stores. You can buy other chicken sandwiches. Just do that. Don't get all caught up in this. The important thing is ESG has to go because that's the real problem. Ultimately, that's the real problem. And if you don't know what ESG is, look it up. Environmental, Social, and Governance Score. I don't want to do a whole video just on that. It's too complicated and I'll probably screw it up. But Google it on your own. And that's the real enemy. That's the thing that's pushing this behind the scenes. Otherwise, I think most of these companies would have bowed out of it already. But they're doubling down again and again because they see it as a way to keep investment capital flowing into their companies. And I think the media companies and the studios in particular are more vulnerable because they're used to that sort of model of people fronting them money to make movies and make TV shows. And without that constant infusion of investor cash, they just dry up and blow away, essentially. So anyhow, don't go to Target and make trouble, please. Just, if you see something and it's woke as F, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Maybe take a picture, talk about it online, but don't make trouble for the employees. The employees don't make decisions on that product. The manager doesn't, unless it's some local company doing some woke thing, there's probably no one in the store that's involved with making these decisions. And it's better to concentrate on these big companies anyway, because once the big companies stop doing this, the little companies will follow. The only reason to do it is because you are a big company, I think. Anyhow, that's my rant. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble. Me and Little Joan in the background. I'll be at the Book Fest at the Burlington County Library on Saturday. I believe it starts at 11. And then Lucille's Luncheonette on Sunday from 10 to 2 in Warren Grove, New Jersey. Hope to see you there, and we'll see you in the next one.